Hey folks, I am Jay, your GM, player and guide. Welcome to Homemade Heroes. Today we are playing our second episode of Shadows of Sunder, but before we get into that, I want to do a quick recap of our first episode. We met Nanna, a female goblin who was making her way across the Whispering Sward to help a friend in the town of Haast. She decided to take a shortcut and was attacked by a velociraptor. Managing to defeat the velociraptor in one blow with her mighty warhammer, she does end up being grievously injured and limps her way to a tree where, with the help of a rope, she's able to see the city of Haast in the distance. While in the tree, she notices a small reptilian creature moving about the base of the tree as if looking for something. And it appears that it is a wounded velociraptor looking for its mate. In our second scene, Nanna reaches the town of Haast and finds the home of her friend Serwyn, a previous adventuring buddy. She's greeted at the door by Finistarial, Serwyn's son, and the reason that Serwyn has asked her to attend him. He has asked her to be a guardian for Finistarial as his son goes through a rite of passage called the Shrouding. Nanna stands at the edge of the marketplace, her eyes and ears, her nose, drinking in the sights, sounds, and redolent smells surrounding her. It's been a long time since she's been to a town the size of Haast, and the marketplace here is something that epitomizes the energy and enjoyment of living in a larger settlement. All around her, she sees different peoples. Dwarves bartering with humans, elves laughing with goblins, humans arguing with half-orcs about the price of an apple. Over there, a halfling expounding upon the virtues of their goods and calling out prices. All about her, these peoples mix and move freely. The hubbub and energy of the market, almost contagious. Nanna takes in a deep breath, savoring the scents, and her memories wandering a little bit as they follow rarely tread paths, thinking back of her time adventuring with Serwyn and the things that went before. She shakes her head slightly and looks around. Well, she's going to enjoy herself, but she has business to be about. Those cells and poultices won't find themselves. And she walks off into the marketplace. Having come to the last of the stalls, she casts her eyes around the market, and over on the far side spots Finistarial, walking towards the center of the market, eyes on the ground in front of him, seeming lost in thought, but also seemingly talking to himself, to someone unseen. She looks around and there's nobody with him. Curious. As he continues to walk in her direction, but still relatively far off, she notices a quick glimmer of light, just a flash, as if a reflection, over Finistaria's shoulder. She blinks and squints over in that direction, but it seems to have gone. At the sight of Finistarial, Nanna wonders whether she has maybe spent too little time getting to know the youth, and whether she perhaps should have tried harder. They are, after all, going to be travelling companions and going into potential dangers this very evening. As Nanna's thoughts wander, Finistarial makes his way over to the large arch that dominates the centre of the town square. He puts his hand up against the arch and looks over it, wonderingly, and again moving his mouth, as if speaking to somebody. Three figures move out of the crowd perusing the market stalls and approach Finistarial. They spread out in front and to the sides of him, and the figure in the center waves a hand in his face. "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there, Eustace. What is it that I can do for you?" The figure in front of Finistarial, Eustace, flicks the long hair that falls down over Finistarial's shoulder and says, I think you're going to die tonight. You know it's dangerous in the ruins, and it's the Shrouding. A lot of people don't come back. Oh, well, what do you know? Besides, I've got some help here. My father has sent for somebody to help me. I'll have as much chance as you and your friends, no doubt. Be off with you. So I think it's time to roll on the Oracle and see what the reaction of Eustace and his friends are to Finistarial's overbearing manner. I think it's probably likely that they're going to be annoyed by his manner, but let's roll the dice and see. That is a 10, which in the SoloDark Oracle is a twist. So let's roll on our prompts table and see if we can get some kind of direction or flavor for what that twist is. I'm also going to roll on the Oracle to see at what point Nanna notices what is going on. Now, I think it's pretty likely that she's going to notice fairly quickly, as she was looking in that direction just before the encounter occurred. So I'm going to roll with advantage for this particular roll on the Oracle. Okay, and that is a natural 20 on one of the die. Whoop, come on. It's a little blurry, but you can see it. Okay. So, natural 20, that means it is a success, and it's an extreme success. So, that means that, I'm going to say that means that she notices straight away, and she immediately starts to jog in that direction. So she is moving over as Eustace is getting in the face of Finistarial. Now that we've established that Nanna is on the move and making her way towards this gradually escalating situation, let's roll on the prompts table and see what we get for the direction that they are going to give us. That is an 80. So an 80 for the verb, which is hint, and a 63 for the noun. 63 victory. Okay. Hint, victory are the prompts that we have. I like that. I can work with that. So as Nanna approaches, she again notices that flicker of light just around Finistarial's shoulders. And Finistarial kind of has their hands up and is trying to back away, is stuttering. I don't know what. Eustace, get away from me. And as Finistarial becomes more and more agitated, Nanna notices that all of a sudden this change comes over him, and he drops one hand and he cocks his head again as if to listen, and then he brings up a hand and, opening the fingers, says, "I said to move away from me," and a bright light suddenly shines forth from his hand, throwing a light shadow behind the figures that are crowding around him. Nanna's eyes widen as she sees this happen, and she manages to get in next to Finistarial, and she looks around. "Well then, folks, I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like Finistarial has shown you that he's capable of protecting himself. with this wee spot of magic here. What do you say you head off, and we'll say nothing more about it? Eustace looks confused and concerned. Well, you always said you wanted to be a spellcaster. It doesn't mean you're going to last any longer in the Shrouding. And let's roll and see if this this sign of magical prowess, as small as it is enough to send Eustace and his friends packing. I think that with Morna coming to back up Finistarial and this show of magic, that this is likely to cause Eustace to back off. So I'm going to roll with advantage for this. And that is a 4 and a 14. So a 14 is a yes to the answer of the question, will they back off? So yay for advantage. Okay. With that, Eustace turns on his heel and marches off away from the market and into the outer streets of Haast. Nanna turns to Finistarial and says, "Oh, are you okay then, Finistarial? Or can I call you Finn?" Finistarial turns to her, looks down his nose, and says, "No, you may not. My name is Finistarial. The only person that calls me Finn is my father, and I would like to keep it that way. Your help here was not needed." His expression then softens a little bit. "But thank you all the same. Have you gathered the supplies that you need for our journey this evening?" "Well, unfortunately, I was not able to afford any of the healing poultices. I was hoping to. We are going into quite a bit of danger in the Shrouding, and well, I was hoping that we could have something to fortify us or bring us back to health should we suffer any injury." And she looks crestfallen. Finistarial, in an uncommon moment of generosity, lifts up a hand and says, "Don't worry, I will take care of this. How many salves or poultices, I believe you said, do you think we would need?" "Oh, I would say at least 2, maybe 3. Whatever you think you can afford, Finistarial." "Well, I'll do what we can, and hopefully I can get what we need for the journey. I suppose I'll see you back at the house, yes?" "Aye, I suppose that you will. But before you go, Finistarial, tell me, you're a spellcaster, yes? Some kind of mage or wizard? That was a wizardly spell? I've been around magic before, but you know there are not a lot of spellcasters in these lands, and I'm curious." A guarded look comes across Finistarial's face, and he draws himself up again. Let's roll on the oracle and see if Finistarial is willing to share information with Nanna. It's going to be a straight roll this time. 12, so that's a yes. "Well, I don't like to talk about it too much. As you can see, some of the other youth around here make fun of me, and it's, well, I have been maybe unwise in who I've chosen to talk to about this in the past. But as we're going to be traveling together and going into danger side by side, then I, yes, have some magical abilities that have gradually developed over the last 6 months or so. I will be a useful companion, have no doubt." "Very good, Finistarial. Well, it's always good to have people with diverse skills in the group. So I'll see you later then." And with that, Nanna turns and starts to make her way back to Serwyn's house. Nanna, Serwyn, and Finistarial are gathered out near the edge of the town of Haast. This is where the ruins of an ancient city spread, all the way from the outskirts of Haast to within a few hundred feet of the rift itself. Finistarial stands looking out into the ruins as Serwyn, putting a hand on Nanna's shoulder, says,
Morna, sorry, I know you prefer to go by Nanna now, but anyway, please look after my son. He's a strange one in some ways, very inward-looking, and certainly, as you've no doubt experienced, a little haughty. But I think he has a kind heart. Perhaps, along with protecting him, you can show him a different way of life. Be an example of a different type of person to those he is used to being around here. And I know he behaves strangely at times. I'm not sure if you've seen him speaking to himself, but please, bear with him and bring him back safely.
Oh, I'll definitely do that. You can count on me, Serwyn, for our friendship in the past, and well, you know, the boy's mother and all that. I'll not get into it now, but you've got my word. I'll lay my life down in order to save his if necessary. But once back, we'll need to discuss the increase in monster activity around these parts. I know it's been affecting my community, and from what I've heard around town, it's affecting you too, maybe even more than my home. Anyway, that'll be for later. So, Finistarial, are you ready to go? As Nanna calls out and Finistarial turns and makes his way towards them, Nanna again notices a speck of movement. This time, not around Finistarial's head, but wafting just at the corner of her own vision. She turns her head quickly, but it doesn't become any clearer. It stays in the corner of her eye, just slowly drifting through the air. She looks to the other side. There's nothing there, but looking back, sees it again, just hovering here. Do you see that, Serwyn?
No, well, what do you mean? See what?
Oh, you don't see anything strange over there?
No, nothing. What does it look like? Are you okay, Nanna? Is that wound still bothering you?
It'll bother me, no doubt, but it's good enough. We're going to roll a 1d6 to see what the nature of this floating moat is. That is a 1. For a brief second, Nanna sees a small translucent leaf skipping through the air as if blown by a gust of wind. And then it's gone. Well, don't worry about me. I must be seeing things. So, anyway, I'll gather Finistarial and and thank you for the healing salves. Finistarial gathered those together, and I'm sure the money came from you. So, my thanks.
This is the first that I've heard of it, but well, as I said, he's got a kind heart. I'm glad to hear that he's thinking about your well-being and his too. That bodes well for the result of the shrouding.
As Serwyn is saying his farewells to Finistarial, Nanna looks about and notices the 3 youth who had been bothering Finistarial in the market earlier that day, talking to their parents, and the other youth that are around are all saying their goodbyes, usually with a guardian of some sort escorting them. And she looks towards the edge of the ruins, the sun gradually dropping down to her left and casting long shadows through and across the ruined buildings that, even after 200 years, still stood with an ominous presence. That ends our 4th scene. with Finistarial and Nanna heading off towards the ruins, preceded by and followed by various groups of youth and their guardians. So our somewhat less than bold party of two start to wander through the ruins. The voices of other adventures, each about their own shrouding, gradually begin to drift away as the group spreads out between the vast, crumbling ruins to the west. The sun is sinking ever closer to the horizon. Nanna wonders whether this is a good time to suggest lighting a torch to Finistarial, but decides to hold her tongue. Unless danger threatens, he should be the one to make decisions and also make mistakes, and thereby learn from experience. I think that the danger level here is unsafe. It's not quite yet risky, and it's definitely not deadly. So I'm going to take this opportunity to roll a d6 and see if there is going to be a random encounter. Remember, if we get a 1 on the d6, then that means that an encounter is going to occur. As you can see, that's a 2, and their journey continues as they move further into the ruins, those voices gradually petering away until all they hear are the sounds of the wind, and from time to time, in a loud call or exclamation from off in the distance. Nanna ventures to Finistarial. So, Finistarial, is this your first time in the wilds? Your first time potentially encountering monsters or difficult situations away from Haast? Not that it's any of your business, Morna. No, dearie, that's Nanna to you. Your father may be able to get away with calling me Morna, but I'm known by Nanna now. And if I'm to call you Finistarial instead of Finn, well, you can go ahead and call me Nanna. Very well, if you insist. I suppose tit for tat. Anyway, as I was saying, I have ventured beyond the walls of Haast with my father and some of his retainers, but never here into the ruins. I have a bit more of an academic bent. I spend more time in Father's library, poring over stories of before the cataclysm. Not that there's much, you understand. Books and scrolls from pre-cataclysm times are rare and hard to find. But luckily Father knows of my interest and has done what he can to gather knowledge together. We have the most books in the whole town. Can you believe it? I realize I'm lucky to have access to such a resource, particularly as it piques my interest the way that it does. But yes, no, yes, no, I don't really have experience out here, so... And Finistarial pauses, obviously challenged by this thought that's going through his mind, and so your guidance would be most appreciated. Let me know when we need to do something, and perhaps if we're in danger, what to do. It is getting dark. Would it be time for us to light a torch, perhaps? Oh yes, good thinking, Finistarial. Let's light a torch. Do you know how to do that? Nanna goes ahead and pulls a torch out of her backpack and shows Finistarial the action of using a flint and steel to light the torch head. I'll hold the torch for now. You've got your hands full with that staff of yours. Now with torchlight flickering around them, they continue to move through the ruins, keeping their eyes peeled, although Nanna does notice that often Finistarial will bring his hand up to his chin and apparently focus inward, forgetting to look around and keep an eye on what is going on around them. Right now I'm going to roll, as I have a question for the Oracle. I'm going to ask, are there other people from the town of Haast still around? At one point they could no longer hear the voices of other folks, but as people are moving around through these ruins, there's a chance that they may come across another group. So let's see if that happens. And because I think it is somewhat likely, I'm going to roll with advantage. That's a natural 20. So not only are there other people around, but they're actually going to come across these other people, is how I'm reading this. The natural 20 means that the answer is yes, and it's the most extreme version of that yes. They start to move past some taller structures. At the outskirts of the ruins, most of the structures were barely a foot or 2 feet high. They're starting to come across buildings that still have most of their wall intact. Very few seem to have roofs over the tops of the walls, but there are a lot more structures that are only partially damaged here. I want to roll a quick check to see if Nanna notices anything as she's moving through the ruins, and it turns out that she does not. So all of a sudden there is a clatter of rock, and breaking into pieces, the wall tumbles towards Nanna and Finistarial. So I'm going to roll checks here for both of the characters, and it's going to be dexterity to see if they are able to leap out of the way of the wall in time. So this one for Finistarial, that is a success, and a 6 for Nanna. That is unfortunately a fail. So Finistarial catches the movement out of the corner of his eye and quickly steps to the side. Nanna, however, is oblivious, which totally makes sense because she got that natural 1 on the perception check, and the wall crumbles in and hits Nanna. And I'm going to roll a 1d6 for damage. Oh, and that is a 6. Okay. Wow, Nanna is really not having a good time here. So a 1 to 3 on the d6 means the torch actually went out, while a 4 to 6 means that the torch stayed lit. A 3, the torch goes out. Nanna, are you okay? Where are you? Over here, lad. Come towards my voice, but careful where you put your feet. There's rock and stone everywhere. Did you hear those voices? It sounded like Eustace. What are you talking about, lad? Forget it. We need to get the torch lit now. Here. Take it from me. I can't get up. Okay, I've got it. I'll just light it right here in the dark. Easy. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to have Finistarial roll to see if the torch comes on, and using the kind of like round system, I'm going to have him try once per round until the torch is lit again. But I'm also going to be rolling to see if there's a random encounter as this situation starts to potentially escalate. And because now I think there's real danger, I'm going to be rolling that random encounter like every round. Let's roll a 1d6 and see if Finistarial is able to light the torch on the first go. So again, 1 to 3 is a fail, while a 4 to 6 is a success. Accidental drop roll, not going to count it. 4, brilliant. On the second strike, the torch sputters, and then the light gradually comes up. Finistarial holds it over Nanna. Here's some lights, Nanna. I did pretty good, didn't I? I managed to get that the first try. Very good, Finistarial. Could you help me with the rocks? Let's roll to see if there is going to be a random encounter. Again, this is the 1d6. If it's a 1, there's a random encounter. Alright, this is going to get interesting. Okay. What I'm going to do to decide on the encounter is there is a table in the Shadowdark book called Ruins, a random table that has a bunch of different encounters that could occur at ruins of some sort, and this is in the book along with a bunch of other tables with a similar kind of direction. So there are tables for like wilderness, tables for dungeons, tables for like Arctic regions, a bunch of tables for different areas and geographical climate types. So let's roll on that table and see what comes up. 75. As Finistarial leans in to help Nanna clear the rest of the stone and rocks from her legs, he hears a rustling from above. Across on the other side of the lane that they were walking down is a larger building, one that still seems to have part of its roof intact. And Finistarial hears the shifting of something scraping along the sides of a wall, or perhaps across the inside of a roof. I'm going to roll now to see how many of these creatures there are. That is a 1. As Mona gets the last of the rocks off her legs and stands to her feet, they both hear and then see this large shape appear, perched on the edge of the ruins, just under the triangular remnants of a roof, and in the space between the two diagonal roof sections, they see this shape shake itself and spread its wings. And that is where we're going to end the session for today. Wow, what a great finish. This has had some really cool elements to it, and so I'm really excited to see how this works out in our next episode. Thanks for watching today and for your support. If you'd like to subscribe and so forth, please go ahead, and we'll see you really soon.